British Cycling, the governing body of cycling in the UK, has called on Boris Johnson to take urgent action to remove dangerous lorries from London's streets. It follows the death of a cyclist who collided with a lorry outside Aldgate East tube station. The 20-year-old woman was riding a Boris bike when the accident happened during the rush hour on Friday evening. It was the first of two serious accidents involving cyclists in London within 24 hours. A 60-year-old man was critically injured on Saturday following a collision with a bus in Stamford Hill. Well, earlier I spoke to Mike Cavanagh from the London Cycling Campaign and began by asking him where he stood on the debate to remove lorries from London streets.
Well, I don't think it's sensible to ask to remove lorries from our roads. We understand London is a busy, thriving city. What we have called for is for lorries the number of them to be reduced during rush hour, particularly morning rush hour. At 7 a.m, a lot of lorries come out onto the street. They've got urgent deliveries to make. We'd like to see the number of lorries at that time reduced. The key thing we can learn from this crash is about the allocation of road space.
Right.
Aldgate Junction and Cycle Superhighway 2, where this took place, there's a lot of fast-moving traffic there, a lot of large lorries going in and out of the city, and cyclists are being forced to share space with these vehicles. We want to see at large junctions, we want to see space allocated and time allocated to cycling.
But you see, when we look at the percentage, lorries actually only make up 5% of vehicles on London's roads, but yet responsible for half of all cyclists' deaths. Is this an education issue? Do cyclists need to learn more about cycle safety? And do lorry drivers and just drivers generally need to educate themselves more about how to spot cyclists and look out for danger zones?
There's certainly space for educating lorry drivers and cyclists about the dangers posed. But again, I would say this is about an allocation of road space. We can design out human error. I mean, no driver wants to be party to the death of a pedestrian or a cyclist, and no cyclist ever wants to get involved in a crash like this. We can design out human error, and that involves segregated cycleways on busy roads and treating junctions as they would perhaps in the Netherlands or in Denmark. On the continent, they've designed out these problems.
Now, in the short term, though, obviously we're going through a sustained point of the summer where the weather is fantastic at the moment. So a lot more tourists and Londoners and out-of-towners will be using Boris bikes. And of course, on Friday, we saw our first death. What should we be doing to make sure that the roads are safe for those who are perhaps first-time London cyclists or new to cycling?
Well, the biggest single factor in my journey as a cyclist is how well other people drive. It's essential that people look out around them. It's essential for all road users to use all their senses and to watch out for other people.